According to animal behaviorists, some of the most normal, loving things you do every single day are quietly hurting your dog. And the scary part? Almost none of them feel like mistakes. They feel like love. They feel like being a good owner. But if you keep doing them, and nearly every dog owner does, you could be slowly damaging your dog's trust, their health, and their sense of safety in the one place they should feel safest. Here are 6 everyday things that hurt your dog way more than you think. Number 1. Yelling at them when they mess up. You come home, there's a chewed shoe or a puddle by the door, and before you can stop yourself, you raise your voice. Be honest. Most of us have done it. It feels like the responsible thing, like you're teaching them. But here's what's actually happening inside your dog when you yell. A 2020 study published in the journal PLOS One, led by researcher Ana Catarina Vieira de Castro, followed 92 ordinary pet dogs across different training schools. The dogs trained with yelling, leash jerking, and harsh corrections showed more stress behaviors, higher levels of the stress hormone cortisol, and here's the haunting part: they became measurably more pessimistic. In a follow-up test, those dogs expected bad outcomes even in neutral situations. The fear didn't stay in the training moment. It seeped into how they saw the entire world. Your dog isn't learning, "I shouldn't do that." They're learning, "This person becomes scary, and I can't predict when." And it gets worse. A separate study out of Sweden found that a dog's long-term stress levels are literally synchronized with their owners. Your tension becomes their tension. So when you yell, you're not correcting behavior. You're teaching your best friend that you're unsafe. The fix is simple, but it takes discipline. Reward what you want, calmly interrupt what you don't, and manage the environment so the mistakes can't happen in the first place. And if you think that one's hard to hear, wait until the last one, because there's a thing almost every owner does out of pure love that might be the most damaging of all. Number 2, rushing the walk and never letting them sniff. When was the last time you actually let your dog stop and smell something? Not for 2 seconds before you yanked the leash. I mean, really investigate it. Most of us walk our dogs like we're on a mission. Fast, straight line, get the business done, get home. And we think we're giving them exercise. But to a dog, a walk isn't about distance. It's about information. Here's something most people don't realize. Dogs have up to 300 million scent receptors in their nose. We have about 6 million. The part of their brain devoted to smell is 40 times larger than ours, proportionally. When you drag your dog past every scent, you're not walking them. You're walking a genius through a library and refusing to let them read a single word. A 2019 study by Charlotte Duranton and dog cognition expert Alexandra Horowitz found that dogs allowed to use their nose freely, doing simple scent work, became more optimistic in cognitive tests. Same exercise, same treats, but the ones who got to sniff and make their own choices were happier. The nose is how a dog decompresses. It's how they process the world. The fix costs you nothing. Slow down. Let it be a sniffari. 20 minutes of free dog-led sniffing will tire your dog out more than an hour of marching, and they'll come home calmer than you've ever seen them. Number 3, hugging and kissing them on the face. This is going to hurt, because you do it out of love. You wrap your arms around your dog, pull them in, maybe plant a kiss right on their nose, and you feel closer to them in that moment. But your dog? There's a very good chance they're begging you to stop. Dogs are flight animals. When something wraps around them and they can't move, their instinct isn't, "aw, love." It's, "I'm trapped." A 2024 pilot study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science analyzed videos of people hugging their dogs and found that the overwhelming majority showed clear stress signals, turning their head away, licking their lips, flattening their ears, showing the whites of their eyes. And in that hugging footage, around 2/3 of the dogs showed some form of nipping or biting response. This is one of the leading ways children end up with bites to the face, from hugging a dog who was quietly saying no the whole time. The day, belly they roll over to show you that soft look, it's trust, and when you clamp down on them, you accidentally spend that trust. The fix? Love them the dog way. A chest scratch, a scratch on the side of the neck. And use the consent test. Pet for 3 seconds, then stop. If they lean back into you, they're saying yes, keep going. If they move away, they just told you they'd had enough, and the most loving thing you can do is listen. Number 4, keeping the food bowl always full. You love your dog, so you feed your dog. A little extra kibble, a topped-up bowl, a piece of whatever you're eating because those eyes are impossible to resist. It feels generous. It feels like love. It's also statistically one of the most dangerous things you can do to them. Around 59% of dogs in the US are overweight or obese, and most owners don't even see it, because we've normalized a chubby dog as a happy dog. But here's the truth that should stop you cold. A famous 14-year study by Purina followed Labrador littermates, feeding some of them just 25% less than the others. The lean-fed dogs lived a median of 1.8 years longer. Almost 2 extra years, just from not overfeeding, and a massive study of over 50,000 dogs published in the Journal of Veterinary Internal Medicine confirmed it across every single breed they looked at. Overweight dogs lived shorter lives, in some breeds by up to 2.5 years. Those extra calories aren't love. They're arthritis, diabetes, and years stolen off the end of your time together. The fix is measured meals instead of a bottomless bowl, treats kept to a small fraction of their daily food, and a simple check. You should be able to feel their ribs without pressing through a layer of fat. It's never too late to give them those years back. Number 5. Leaving them alone way too long. There's a myth that dogs are fine on their own all day, that they just sleep, that they don't really notice. It's one of the most comforting lies we tell ourselves, and it's hurting millions of dogs every single day. Research going back decades, starting with the work of Josef Topal in Hungary, shows that dogs form genuine attachment bonds with their owners, the same kind of bond a small child forms with a parent. You are their secure base. They're braver when you're there, and they genuinely struggle when you're gone. Studies on separation-related behavior find it's far more common than owners think, with some research suggesting nearly half of puppies show signs of distress when left, and the cruel twist is how it shows up. Not always as barking or destruction. Often it's silent, withdrawal, pacing, over-grooming. A dog quietly falling apart while the house stays perfectly tidy, so you never even know. You don't have to be home every hour. But small things change everything. A midday walk from a friend or a walker. A puzzle feeder or a snuffle mat before you leave. Building up alone time slowly instead of expecting them to just cope. And never, ever punish a dog for what they did while you were gone, because that anxiety is the very thing driving the behavior. Number 6, scolding them for the guilty look. Here it is. The thing you do out of love that might be doing the deepest damage of all. You come home, there's a mess, and your dog gives you that look. Ears back, head low, those big sorry eyes. And you think, they know exactly what they did. So you scold them, because clearly they understand. Except they don't. In a landmark study, dog cognition researcher Alexandra Horowitz set up an experiment where dogs sometimes did and sometimes didn't break a rule, and owners were sometimes told the truth and sometimes misled. The result? The guilty look had nothing to do with whether the dog had actually done anything wrong. The dogs who looked guiltiest were often the innocent ones who got scolded anyway. That guilt isn't guilt, it's fear. It's your dog reading your angry body language and desperately trying to appease you, to make the scary thing stop. So when you scold that face, you're not teaching a lesson. Dogs can't connect a punishment now to something they did hours ago. All they learn is that sometimes you come home and become frightening for no reason they can understand. And that quietly erodes the trust you've spent years building. The fix is to stop reading guilt where there is none. Learn what stress actually looks like. The lip licks, the yawns, the turned away head, and prevent the mess instead of punishing it. Because to your dog, you're not just the person who feeds them. You are their entire world, and every single one of these fixes is really the same fix. See the world through their eyes, just for a moment, and love them the way they actually need to be loved.